So maybe he's not like kickboxing world champion level, but I definitely think he knows what he's at least doing. What's up, dudes? I'm excited to welcome you back by a new video on my channel. If I'm gonna upload this one on Christmas, I all wish you a great Christmas, have fun. But today it is gonna be about Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate and the Paul brothers. So if you don't know, there was a stare down between Jake Paul and Andrew Tate like a long time ago, but obviously Andrew Tate needed to go to prison, so nothing came of that. But today we found another clip of Logan Paul and Jake Paul talking about a potential fight.
So world champion,
I
like
look up the exact.
no, world champion in kickboxing is such a, seems like subjective sort of thing, because who did he beat? How did no one in the kickboxing world, actual champions that I know who this guy was? No one's ever heard of him. The guys he beat are 1 in 54.
What Logan is saying here is something a lot of people say about Andrew Tate and his kickboxing career, because there's not much footage and a lot of fighters get asked about Andrew Tate and they don't know him. Doesn't mean he's not a good kickboxer, because let's be real here, there are many great kickboxers and boxers that don't have the biggest career, that just, you know, box in a local place they are, and that doesn't mean they cannot box, that doesn't mean they are not great. It's just the fact that not everyone is gonna have a big career. So I don't know if this is necessarily like showing that Andrew Tate is not a good kickboxer, because he's obviously been training for a long time, I think since his early 20s, so at this point he's probably kickboxing for like 10 years and he's still training. And I've watched many boxers and kickboxers like analyze Andrew Tate and if he can really kickbox or not, and many of them say that he is legit good. So maybe he's not like kickboxing world champion level, but I definitely think he knows what he's at least doing.
Like Dylan Dennis was a 4-time world champion in brown belt, so there's still people out there who are significantly better than him.
So is there different like credibilities and different?
So it seems like Logan Paul is marking Dylan Dennis, because Logan Paul won in a boxing match doesn't mean he's going to be winning against Dylan Dennis in a grappling match. I definitely think if it would just be grappling, Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul, I know Logan Paul has some like wrestling background, but I just think Dylan Dennis is gonna destroy Logan Paul, because Dylan Dennis is legit like a killer. If you see some of the compilations, he definitely has some skills, and I don't think Logan Paul is at that same level. Obviously he knows something because he had some wrestling and he has some background, but he's not at the same level as Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, there's all types of different belts, and in a lot of
regardless, let's just call him a skilled kickboxer for the way for means of this conversation. Yeah, if that makes sense, and who still trains on a daily basis, right?
I like what Mike is saying here. We can all argue if Andrew Tate's history is legit, if he's legit a world champion or not, this and that, but I think most people can just agree that he's obviously been kickboxing for like 10 years, he's still training, he had many matches, so I think he has legit some skills. So I like what Mike is saying here. Obviously we don't know if he's like world champion level of kickboxing, but he definitely knows what he's doing.
Asking simple questions. So from the upper body hand striking situation, part of it, you guys clearly have the power and the experience to win that portion, correct?
Now, if it were boxing, absolutely. If it were kickboxing, he'd probably best us. Like if it was solely kickboxing.
That's what I was gonna
It's actually a good thing for Logan to admit that if they're going to be kickboxing, that they're probably going to be losing, because Andrew Tate has been kickboxing for like 10 years. He has been doing it for a long time and he's still training. Obviously striking is a different discussion. I honestly don't know. Obviously Andrew and Tristan have more experience. They've been doing it for a long time. I guess it would be like Logan versus Tristan, because they both less experienced than the bigger guys. I think they're the same size. I think Tristan is a big guy and Logan as well. Jake and Andrew are smaller. I think Jake is like 5'10 and Andrew is like 6'2, so I definitely think it would be like Andrew versus Jake, because they're both more experienced, and then it would be Tristan versus Logan, the bigger guys against each other. Or maybe Logan is going to be thinking that he's like a better boxer, which in fact my boy Logan already said to Jake, which is just really delusional, because Jake has been boxing much more, has much more matches, and every single person that has analyzed Jake and Logan has said that Jake is more talented, that Jake is a better boxer, so I guess I'm just going to agree with them. Obviously I'm not an expert, but I'm just looking at the people that know what they're talking about, and I give my opinion based on that. So I definitely think it would be pretty interesting. Obviously Tristan and Andrew are much older than Logan and Jake. That is definitely going to be a disadvantage. I think they're both in like the mid-30s, and obviously Jake and Logan are pretty young guys, so that's definitely going to be a disadvantage.
The reason I'm asking is, I'll just say it for you. You guys take fist striking, and you have a wrestling background.
Wrestling better.
He has a kickboxing background, and potentially, maybe, I don't know, maybe more MMA experience. He probably rolls around.
He has MMA fights. Yeah.
Correct.
It's actually pretty interesting. I tried to search if Andrew or Tristan have any like grappling background, if they know wrestling or really anything, and I couldn't find anything. I know Tristan had like an MMA match, so I guess both Andrew and Tristan know some stuff, but obviously Jake and Logan have some experience in grappling. They both did high school wrestling, so I definitely think they're going to be having an advantage, at least in that aspect. I don't know who's going to be winning the striking part. Obviously Andrew has some striking experience, and Tristan as well, and Logan, so I think it's going to be pretty interesting, because I honestly don't know who's going to be winning the fight, if they're going to be legit fighting, which is obviously the question, because obviously Andrew is in some legal trouble.
So that's where
and really we're talking about Andrew here. Like Tristan's not really in this equation. Like,
well, the way they describe it would be.
Yeah, but that's like the light work, you know, like we'll take that out real fast and then.
By the way, without a question, for anyone doubting that, that's fucking insane. Like,
really be roasting Tristan. I know Tristan had like an MMA match, and he obviously has some experience training with Andrew, but I don't know how good he really is. I think if it would be like Logan versus Tristan, that definitely would be pretty interesting. I definitely think Jake could be winning from Tristan, because obviously Jake has more experience, he has fought many boxers and this and that, but I don't think Logan is at the same level as Jake. So Tristan versus Logan would definitely be interesting. I think they're around the same size as well.
Essentially years, like we gave him an offer.
Yeah,
there's one thing to do. You can
10 mil for Andrew, 10 mil for Tristan, 10 mil for you, 10 mil for me, and.
But here's what they'll say: I don't need this for the money. You're gonna have to slap $50 million for you.
That's just an insane amount of money. Obviously it doesn't mean shit for the Paul brothers and for the Tate brothers. They're both really rich. Obviously Logan has the entire brand Prime. He's rich, and obviously the Tate brothers have a lot of money as well. So 10 million doesn't mean too much, I think, for both brothers. But having said that, if that match is legit going to be happening, that would be huge. I think it's going to be much bigger than the fight Logan had with Dylan Dennis. Obviously that fight was pretty massive as well. But if the Tate and Paul brothers are going to be fighting, that is going to be insane, and I think that's going to be the biggest influencer boxing fight in the history of influencer boxing fights. I don't think anything is really going to be topping that. Maybe KSI versus Jake Paul. I think even that is not going to be topping that, because obviously Andrew Tate has a huge following, the Paul brothers are huge, so I definitely think if that fight is going to be legit a thing, it's going to be massive.
For something that was more than the money, would you guys be willing to devote to that?
Like what?
You guys have to
pink slips.
No. You guys have to start to support the Tate Academy. No, all right, not that. Not that. No, I was serious, but you wouldn't do that. But like, you guys have to delete your Instagrams.
Gives a shit.
Maybe it's your boy, but I don't think Logan Paul is going to be deleting his Instagram account. I don't think there's any way he's going to be doing that. He's obviously an influencer. He's horny for attention and for all the clout. He wants to promote his Prime everywhere he goes, and I definitely think he would not be doing that. He's an influencer after all. They do everything for clout and attention, and there's no way Logan is going to be deleting his Instagram account.
But it's not going to happen.
Dude,
it won't happen.
If that undercarded Musk Zuckerberg, we're talking about the greatest event in the history of mankind. More viewership for that. I don't know if it would beat the World Cup with Messi.
That legit is gonna be an event. It's gonna have insane numbers, honestly, but I don't know if the Tate brothers are willing to be fighting the Paul brothers. I honestly don't know. Maybe they're still like in legal trouble. But having said all of that, who do you think is going to be winning the fight if they're going to be fighting? And do you think they're willing to be fighting the Tate brothers? Leave it as well in the comment section. It would be an interesting discussion. Did you enjoy today's video? Then don't be scared to press the like button. Helps with the algorithm and promoting my video around. Subscribe if you want to get notified when your boy is uploading a new video. And I will see you all in the next one.